Tropical Storm Francine, a significant hurricane threat to the Gulf Coast of the United States, on tonight's Tropical Weather Bulletin. Tropical Weather Bulletin for September 10th. On the map of world tropics, we have one storm currently active, and that is Tropical Storm Francine in the Gulf of Mexico. It is approaching the Gulf Coast of the United States currently, and it could make landfall potentially as a Category 2. There is 92L there. It is now the westernmost of the areas of interest. We've downgraded it to 50%. The middle one now, Disturbance 3, we've upgraded to 70%, and we have a new area of interest marked off the coast of Africa, 10% chance of formation from that. Here is the Western Pacific. Invest 94W is looking very poor there. We give it 10%. And 95W there has a 90% chance of formation that is likely to form within 24 hours. And it could potentially impact Japan. Here's the Eastern Pacific. We have dropped the Central Pacific area of interest. No more Iona, sad. And we now have this area of interest. This is the only one. We had it marked last night. Now there's a 60% chance of formation. 92B made landfall last night, and since then we have downgraded it to 10% chance of formation with that massive burst of convection off to its west there. On this day, 3 years ago in 2021, Typhoon Shentu, local name Kiko, was peaking as a Category 5 with winds of 180 miles per hour and a pressure of 902 millibars. Hurricane Larry was riding up the eastern seaboard after its Category 3 peak. Hurricane Olaf was coming off the Baja California Peninsula, and Tropical Storm Kansen was approaching Vietnam. Here are the names. In the Atlantic, we could be seeing both Gordon and Helene soon. In the Eastern Pacific, we could also be seeing Ileana soon. And in the Central Pacific, no more Iona. Big sad. In the Western Pacific, it's very likely we will see Babinka soon. And in the North Indian Ocean, no more Dana. Let's move on to the satellite and GFS. Here is Francine on the satellite. You can see a little bit of an eye feature popping up there in the latest frames. The structure of the storm overall is improving quite significantly since around 6 hours ago. The storm is rapidly intensifying currently, and like I said, this is a significant hurricane threat, and the NHC is currently calling it Category 2, but it is possible that this could reach Category 3 intensity. So people in Louisiana need to be taking precautions. If you're in Louisiana, be taking precautions right now. This will probably be there in about 2 days. Actually, almost exactly 2 days from now is when they're expecting landfall. So, the structure of the storm is improving. This is a rapidly intensifying hurricane, and Louisiana is not going to have fun. Here is the GFS. You can see Francine there on the left. Go ahead and click play here. So, Francine there, intensifying, getting up to 972 millibars, which is around what the NHC is calling its low-end Category 2 peak. Making landfall at 979, which would be a weakening trend, probably a mid-range Category 1 landfall there. And making it almost all the way up to Tennessee looks like as tropical. I did not mean to do that. Makes it all the way almost to the border with Tennessee, between Mississippi and Tennessee, is fully tropical. That, I believe, is Disturbance 3 there. Well, what's left of it. It looks like not much else happens in the Atlantic. That looks like that might be a tropical storm there, but that's more than likely an extratropical cyclone because of the high latitude. But not much activity in the Atlantic here in the next 2 weeks, aside from Francine. That looks like maybe another little hint at a tropical storm there, but not much. First off, massive, strong typhoon there. I see that. So that's 94W. That's 95W, quickly becoming a tropical storm here. Reaching typhoon status looks like maybe on the 13th. And approaching the coast of China, peaking at 969 millibars, probably a Category 2 peak there. Making landfall, I think that says 972 if I could see, so that's still a Category 2 landfall. Near Shanghai. Another typhoon forming there, another massive typhoon, another tropical storm there, and another tropical storm behind that. 2 tropical storms behind that, looks like. Peaking as a Category 3. That's just one tropical storm behind that. 958 millibars, probably a category 3, with a quite significant weakening down to 978 millibars before its landfall in Taiwan there. Then that other typhoon behind it, another massive typhoon, gets very strong there. Pressure down to 941 millibars. It'd be a category 4 likely. That could be a category 3 due to its size and latitude. And then making a beeline straight for Japan. There's just going to be no Japan left after this season. I swear they have not had fun this season. Eastern Pacific. Let's see if anything happens at all. That's a tropical storm there. Looks like that's probably the invest we have marked. Just a brief spin up tropical storm. Looks like not much happened with that. And not really anything else. Move on to satellite imagery. Here is Francine. You can see in the recent frames that eye feature I was talking about. Cloud tops are still very, very high in that northeastern quadrant. Up well into the minus 90s, all the way up in that northeastern quadrant. And this is not quite a hurricane yet. I've heard some people speculating that it could already be a hurricane. I don't think it's a hurricane yet. But this is a major threat to land. And the cloud tops of the storm are getting quite strong. Well, they've been strong for quite a while. Near the center, though, the cloud tops really aren't all that good. There's only just now some convection blowing up near the center in the eye wall. Those are not great cloud tops. I mean, they're decent, but they're not great. This only barely up in the minus 70s. But before that, the maximum cloud tops around the center were only in like the mid to high minus 50s until that convection started blowing up right there. But so near the center of the storm, it looks like it's still trying to wrap those high cloud tops around its center, which it looks like it's beginning to do now because of the increase in cloud tops. But sea surface temperatures are very favorable for the storm right now. I believe they are over 30 degrees Celsius, so that is the perfect conditions for rapid intensification. I believe wind shear is also quite low. So this storm is in the perfect conditions for rapid intensification, which is why this could potentially reach major hurricane intensity before it makes landfall. Anyway, that is it for tonight's tropical weather bulletin. We will have updates on Francine and probably another tropical weather bulletin tomorrow night. It will probably be a hurricane tomorrow night. Anyway, like, subscribe, goodbye.